Section 9.3a is about factoring trinomials that look like this, have this form. We're going to start by foiling these two binomials and looking at the pattern. If I multiply x and x, I get x squared, and then x times 3 is plus 3x. Distributing the 2, you get plus 2x, and then 2 times 3 is 6. Now what I want you to notice is these two middle terms are like terms, and they combine to give me a 5x. Now the pattern that I want you to recognize is the fact that the number 6 here is at the end, and 2 times 3 equals 6. But I also want you to see that 2 plus 3 equals 5. And that's not a coincidence. The number at the end and the number in the middle are connected because when you multiply 3 times 2 and when you add 3 plus 2, you get those two numbers. That pattern is important when trying to factor trinomials. Now here we're going to learn to factor a trinomial, and we're going to use a guess and check strategy that I call using the diamond. So we're going to take a look at this trinomial, and what I want you to do is take this first number that's in the front of the trinomial, the first coefficient, and you're going to multiply it by the number in the back. In this case, 1 times 12 is 12, and you're going to make a diamond. You're going to put the 12 on top, and then you're going to take this middle term, and I'll do this in blue, the 7, you're going to put that on the bottom. Now, as you've seen in the diamond, you're going to multiply to go up and add to go down. So we've got to think of two factors that will multiply to give us a 12 and add to give us a 7. Now, you probably can figure out that it's 3 times 4 and 3 plus 4, but I want to show you how to do this if you have to guess and check. What you do is you list all the factors of 12. 1 times 12, 2 times 6, and 3 times 4. You make a list of them, and then once you do that, you look for the two that actually fit to add together to become 7. In this case, it's 3 and 4. So positive 3 and positive 4. Now, what you do with this trinomial is you break it up. You put an x squared in the front, and you put plus 12 on the back. But in the middle, you're going to take these two terms, and you're going to use them to create 7x. But you're going to use addition or subtraction. So we're going to put 3x first plus 4x. And notice what that does. What is 3x plus 4x? It's 7x. So we've just replaced the 7 with a 3 plus 4. Now I've broken this up into 4 terms, and we know how to factor that. We factor it by grouping. So we take an x out of the first group, x plus 3. We take a plus 4 out of the second group, and we get x plus 3. Those two groups match. So x plus 3 times x plus 4 is my answer. That is the factored form of that trinomial. Here we're going to factor this trinomial. So we multiply 1 times 27, put that on the top of the diamond, 27, and then negative 12 goes on the bottom. Make sure that you include the negative sign. So now I want to list all the factors of 27. 1 and 27, 3 times 9, and I think that's it. So of these two pairs, it looks like adding 9 and 3 will give me 12, but I want a negative 12. So if I try negative 3 times negative 9, that will add to give me negative 12, and it will multiply to give me positive 27. So those are the two factors that I'll use. So we'll have x squared on the front plus 27 on the back, and now we'll use these two numbers with the letter x, minus 3x minus 9x. And so now we've rewritten our trinomial in such a way that we can do grouping. Don't forget the negative belongs with the 9. So I factor out an x, give me an x minus 3. Now I'm going to factor out a negative 9. That'll make this a positive x minus 3, and now those two groups will match. So x minus 3 times x minus 9 is the factored form of my trinomial. We're going to factor this trinomial, multiply 1 times negative 12. So negative 12 on the top of the diamond and a positive 1 on the bottom because a 1 comes in front of that x. Factors of 12 are 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. Now, can I use either of these pairs to get me a 1. Well, let's take a look at 3 and 4. If I use a positive 3 and a negative 4, if I use those, they'll multiply to give me a negative 12, but they'll add to give me a negative 1. So those won't work. But if I put the negative with the 3, now they multiply to give me negative 12, and they add to give me positive 1. So those are the two factors that I'll use to split up my trinomial into a 4-term polynomial. Minus 3x, because it's a negative 3, and plus 4x. Again, I'm getting the x because that's the middle term. Now we'll do grouping. Take out an x. X minus 3 is left. Take out a 4. Whoops. Take out a 4. X minus 3. And so my factored form is x minus 3 times x plus 4. This is our last example. You may benefit from pausing the video and trying it yourself and then coming back and checking for the answer. Multiply the first coefficient times the last number. You get a negative 18 on the top of your diamond. So we need numbers that multiply to be negative 18 and add to be negative 7. I'll list my factors of 18, 1 and 18, 2 and 9, 3 and 6. Now, can any of those combine to add or subtract to be a negative 7? Yeah, it looks like I can get a negative 7 if I have a 2 and a negative 9. Now, when you multiply those, you get negative 18. When you add them, you get negative 7. So that will work. Rewriting my trinomial, I'll use positive 2x and negative 9x. Then we'll do grouping. The negative goes with the 9, so x times x plus 2. And now I'm going to take out a negative 9 because I noticed that I needed a positive x and a positive 2. So then I got x plus 2 times x minus 9.